Hello to you, JZ.
Hello, JB. Not unlike me on Sunday, Jim. We had the annual dad's cricket game and I was swashbuckling at the crease.
Well, we went and spoke at your cricket club a few years back, Bill and I.
Alexander Thompson.
We asked the locals about your ability to play cricket, and they were damning you with faint praise.
All you have to do is look up on the walls,
we
my
didn't see anything
photos.
on the wall.
No, there was nothing.
We looked everywhere.
My name
Couldn't see anything.
embossed in gold.
Now, the MCG, is it going to be ready, the mighty Coliseum, for round one?
Well, I tell you what, the grounds people aren't sleeping between now and then because they are constant. They have been non-stop after the record-breaking Ed Sheeran gigs across the weekend from Saturday morning. The new turf begun to go in this morning, and it's going to take them about 4 days to get all this brand new green grass down on the MCG turf. Because if you looked at it right now, fellas, at fair income looks like a sandpit. Like it looks shocking.
They must have known this was coming. They agreed to put the concerts on, so they're very confident they're going to get it right.
And this is why we trust the mighty MCC with looking after the best surface in Australia, because it's been a 2-year plan. Right. It has been carefully planned and executed. So I think they had something like 137 trucks in there sort of setting up and packing down the stadium. So it took a lot of traffic.
$1 million bucks?
But a million, more than a million.
More than
a million. Could be almost be double that.
What I didn't know, Jay-Z, and I only found this out during the cricket season where we discussed this with a couple of the groundsmen, is the modern turf has synthetic woven into it.
I did not know
so
that.
It's not all natural grass.
There's a bit of fake
for
stuff
that
in there.
reason, so that it holds a lot better and maintains a lot better through difficult weather.
Well, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's
doesn't have to get the roots
woven through. No, it's mainly proper grass,
right?
But there's synthetic all woven within it, so that it stays green and
is knitted.
Yes.
Exactly. I guess the concern is going deep, and you're alluding to this, Bill, is you don't want any shifting stuff.
No.
So that is what they'll spend all of next week making sure they'll thoroughly check every square inch of it to make sure there's no soft spots. So you'll see people out there testing all that. I think there's some good weather coming, a bit of water, a bit of fertiliser, and it'll be looking as good as your front yard green grass.
I love it.
Jim, so that'll be all good, but you're right. It is a massive spend and a massive logistical effort.
That's what I'm hearing there. Race against time.
And you said that well. But Ed Sheeran also played in Adelaide last night.
Oh, at Adelaide Oval?
Adelaide Oval. And they've got even less time. They've got 11 days to get that surface right for Port Adelaide, Brisbane on a Saturday afternoon, I think. Geez. So they're busy over there in South Australia also.
Race against time there.
It certainly is.
Ben McKay at North.
Yeah, big injury news this. And North Melbourne already got Cam Zurhaar under a massive injury cloud with that tight calf after a 58-point hammering from the Bulldogs. So they're already one man down. And the news this afternoon is that Ben McKay's going to miss with a bone stress injury in his foot, which is a huge blow, Billy. He's one of their most important players.
How much foot is he missing?
Well,
4 weeks?
They've been reluctant to put a time frame on it, but my sources say that at this stage it's probably about 4 weeks, best case scenario.
So guess who they play round 4?
Not his brother.
Carlton. Round 4.
They've never played each other, Bill.
7 years. They've never played each other.
That's ridiculous.
That's disappointing if he misses
Read
that.
Well,
into
big blokes and feet are a worry.
Yes. And Clarko and Co will be very careful. He is a big one to watch, and you won't like this, Jim, but he is one of the leading free agency targets. And Port Adelaide had a little look at him last year, and they will be eyeing him off this year because they need some top line key defensive support. It's probably the one part of the ground which they're lacking a little bit. So they are interested in Ben McKay to some extent. North Melbourne obviously love to keep him. If there is a big offer, it might make it an interesting choice for him later in the year. But
Carlton?
North Melbourne.
No interest is what we've heard from those two.
Go to
don't want to play with each
Carlton
other.
needs someone. Imagine him going to Carlton.
Well, the salary cap's quite full at the moment, Bill. I'm not sure they can afford it.
He's happy at North, loves Clarko going nowhere, but they need to get him right.
Yes, and it is a big blow. Yep.
Now, big meeting in at headquarters, the CEO presidents meet.
Yes.
Run me through the agenda, please.
Well, normally, Jim, you can tell this, normally it's sort of quite pleasant. They get the scones and the jam and the cream out and the chamomile tea.
Do you have that, Jim, or not?
There's lovely catering. I'm not sure about the scones and jam and cream. But
Little egg sandwich, a little cucumber
Do you have
number.
sandwiches or party pies?
Well, there's two different ones these days, as I understand it. They have a
Yes.
CEO's meeting,
Yes.
and then you have the commission meeting, which includes the CEOs and the presidents.
Yep.
So would the presidents been at this one? Probably not. I don't
But there is both. I think
Yeah.
there's two. Yeah. So there's not just the one who did have the biggest ego in the room. Just out of
think.
interest.
There was Ed,
Eduardo.
there was Jeffrey Kennett. He used to get
Jeffrey.
Yep. And then there was Frank, who you couldn't understand.
No.
He used to get the
yeah.
boys going.
you
And
would-
Frank was great. Loved him.
And then
there
you
was
had
Chip
Ed.
Kernahan, myself, and
the
the
back.
great late Jimmy Steins, and we were right at the back.
Good cool kids.
And we were not cool. Just stay back there and don't say anything. That's how we were treated. But what's come out of this?
Yes.
Item
well,
number one.
It's going to be very interesting because I think that along with obviously
Gill. It's gotta be Gill.
Yeah, Tasmania, the Hawks investigation, but there is a lot of frustration at club level that they got no bloody idea who is replacing Gil McLachlan. And the suspicion at Clubland, and you may have something on this, Jim. Suspicion at Clubland is that the AFL at the moment is throwing as much money as they can, the kitchen sink, the bathroom, the whole taps and pipes and everything, to
everything.
try and get Gil McLachlan to stay.
Really?
They love him. He's so capable. So at the moment, they've said, well, he will go sometime after Gather Round. But the suspicion amongst Clubland is that this pause is all about whether he wants to stay
Surely not.
potentially longer. So
For the year.
I think that Richard would dearly love him to stay for a longer period. So
What's damning on the group underneath him then, if
That's
that is
right.
the truth?
No
I'm not
standout.
saying you're not telling the truth.
Yep.
But when you're talking about, the boys that are underneath or the group underneath who are suspected to be the ones to replace him, if the chairman of the AFL Commission is desperately trying to hang on to a bloke who says he's leaving,
Yep.
then it's not so much about what's gathering underneath.
Yeah. Well, why isn't the succession plan it is odd. Why isn't it clear? If Andrew Dillon and Travis Oldham, Brennan Gale are the three favourites for the gig, all so well known to everyone.
Yep, and very capable.
And super capable. They could all do the job. What otherwise would the delay be
Well,
about?
I think
is what the
it's
clubs
because
are asking.
Gill needs to clean some mess up
The
in his own
Hawthorn
mind.
stuff.
But he's also got the new Tassie and the new players agreement.
Yep.
So I think those three things
Yep.
are probably him saying, "I want that all cleared away."
Yep.
Before the new person comes in with clear air.
Yeah, wouldn't it help though to have anointed that person so that succession plan and the duality of it all can
together.
begin?
Maybe that's going to happen,
Yeah.
and maybe that's what the AFL CEOs are saying. We need clarity around it.
Do they ever get testy, these things?
Or sometimes. Yeah. Oh, I liked it too. Yeah, when it started to bubble over, I actually enjoyed that bit. I thought, oh, hello, he's filthied up.
I think this could be one where it does get a little bit feisty. And Jeff Brown, now that he's the most powerful man in football, according to the
Exactly.
Herald Sun's power list, I'm sure he'll have something to
All
say.
right.
Is there a couple of commissioners got to be added?
Yes, they're getting to that. I think there is at least one vacancy. They want someone with some football expertise.
Or like me?
Michael O'Loughlin's name has been mentioned. Do you think you'd be able to do it?
I'd go
Not
along.
one
Free
chance
froffies and a
in hell.
Frankfurt.
Yeah.
Imagine you trying to plough through the minutes.
I wouldn't read
You
them.
never read a book. I'd be on the commission, but I wouldn't read the minutes.
minutes, Jim.
1 for 200 WA. My oldest son, Jonathan, who's a surfer, never played a game of cricket in his life, would catch better than South Australia.
Jake Lehman's just dropped a
An absolute pud. Now,
pudding.
Would you rather drop a catch or make a duck, Jim?
Sorry to the bowler, but I'm dropping the catch. Now, Jay-Z, tell me this. We've got
Yes.
selections for round one.
Yes.
Everyone wants to know who's in, who's out, the big surprises.
Debutants.
Yes, I tell you, there's an amazing story brewing at St Kilda. There's a bloke called Anthony Caminiti. He's 19. He's a key forward, 196 centimetres. He was a waiter, Bill. He waited at a steak restaurant and he worked in a cafe.
He's
sort of cleaning up stuff. He part-time studying engineering.
Grill on the Hill.
Yes.
Waiting tables, and now he could be leading out of the goal square, out of a sort of a depleted-ish St Kilda forward line, or a very depleted St
We
Kilda
saw
forward
it last
line.
Friday. Very lively.
Yes. And he can catch it above his head, and without King, without Membry, without Hayes, basically without anyone too tall, he can catch it down there in the St Kilda forward line. Anthony Caminiti is what will be one of the best stories
Sheepers.
of round one. Now, the
That's a
other one,
story.
also forward, is Fergus Green. Now, the great thing about this is no one was talking about these like sort of 3-4 months ago. So Fergus Green, who kicked 84 goals in the VFL over the past 2 seasons, again, without Mitch Lewis at Hawthorn, is on track to be out of the goal square there. So they do have Jacob Kajitsky and Chad Wingard, but the big question mark over Hawthorn this year not only is who's going to get it out of the midfield, now that Tom Mitchell's gone and Jager O'Meara, but then also without Mitch Lewis and Pup Shields, of course, who's going to kick their goals. So Fergus Green, he could lead Hawthorn's goal kicking this year. It is certainly going to be fascinating.
Wow.
And also at Richmond, a rookie defender by the name of Tyler Young. Who is he, I hear you say, Bill?
I was about to say, who is Young?
196 centimetre defender. He's a soccer player, essentially, from Albury. Another
he can
one.
play footy.
And Aubrey.
Albury.
Wodonga and Albury.
I hope he plays footy.
Well, he's come from the clouds, Bill. And
From Frankston.
Yes. So Albury and Frankston, he played in both. So he's been from both places.
Like it, Jay-Z.
Well, hey, you don't just grow up your whole life living in the one place.
So he seriously started playing footy in 2019 with North Albury,
See?
Wodonga and Albury.
and then he went to Frangers.
Yes. So,
That would be a great story.
well, round one, 90,000 in the house at the MCG, Jim. Who is he standing next to? You got Harry
goodness.
McKay over here. You got Charlie
Chaz
Kerno over
Kerno.
there.
Oh.
You'd be praying to get Tom de Koning.
Yeah,
wouldn't you?
something else. Get me somewhere else. Third wheel.
So he'll probably get the third banana. Dylan Grimes on track to play for Richmond. Robbie Tarrant is out with a hip. Noah Bolter, despite being slugged in the face at that footy game a couple of weeks ago, he is good to go. But Jaden Short is struggling with a calf, so they will miss him, it looks like. Dion Prestia is in a race against time, a nice term you used before, Bill. He's got a pectoral muscle, but they're hoping he can train over the next few sessions and get up, which would be a good effort
He
for.
finds some injuries, meatball, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's been very unlucky, hasn't he?
has,
Maybe,
very unlucky.
maybe he's one who should just give away the preseason games. Just
He
wrap
blow
yourself
up
in.
too much. I
Can't
think
do
he
it.
needs a bit of
Bit big,
pre-season.
yeah.
The meatball.
Did he have a party this weekend too, Big Dion?
Oh.
You heard about that, Rabsy? You know.
No.
Yeah, Rabsy's nodding his head.
Is it online or something?
I think there was some sort of social media talk of a bit of a house party there.
Who else?
So they're the main three, but I want to ask you too about Asava Radigalea in Geelong. So this is a bloke who could hardly get a game for the Cats. Now Jack Henry goes down. No Tom Hawkins likely with that foot
Well,
injury.
you sure about Hawkins?
I don't think they're going to risk him, are they? Would you rush him in? Wouldn't you just wait till he was ready
Well,
and then give him another 2
Yeah,
weeks?
yeah. I suppose you would. You'd make sure he's right, the big fella.
Yep. But you got Jez Cameron forward.
No, well, Jez Cameron's he's having a baby
Oh,
around that round one.
yes, but it's sort,
Time.
so they can work that out and they can
Don't
still
work that out, Bill.
play it.
Oh, thank you, Jim.
So
You
for
know,
that-
do you?
Yes,
You
I
got
do.
a
I've had
phone-
4 of them.
Yeah. No,
So
but
I
it's
got half an
times,
idea how it happens.
times have changed. 4 from 4. You're batting 1,000.
I know,
by the way.
I'm 100%. But they can be brought on.
Forward.
Yeah, exactly. So I would suggest
Oh, you just pay him
Jez
forward, do you?
I think Jez would be all right.
Well, we'll ask Jez. He'll be listening. Ring in, Jez. Actually, he'll be listening. He'll be driving
listens.
home at the minute.
Times have changed.
1-333-53.
Yeah,
Yeah, 1-333-53. Times have changed. They like to sit in there and go through the whole lot.
do all that.
Yeah.
But I think they can sort of work around that, Bill. But Asava Radigalea, so Jack Henry was the key back. They've got Blitzars, of course, back there and Tommy Stewart. But Asava
Koning.
Radigalea, I know, but they need some aerial support down there. And after being declined the trade request to Port Adelaide, are you expecting him to line up
Yes.
in
He's
a key
been-
defensive role?
Well, he's been playing down back, yes.
Hey,
so you
Jay-Z, I know you've spent some time out at the hangar. Tell us about the
Yes.
Bombers under Brad Scott.
Yes, well, Robbo got in a flap about their performance at the weekend. They lost to St Kilda by about 6 goals. They haven't been overly
They weren't
convincing.
great. The only bloke was Davey that stood out.
Yes.
A1.
Yes.
Alwyn.
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 He was outstanding.
What did you call him?
A1.
A1.
He had a magic wand. He was good.
Yes. But the issue is now this has been a club which has been pox at defending, not just for the past 3 years, but for the best part of 10 years. Mark Thompson couldn't change it. Woosher couldn't change it. Ben Rutten couldn't change it. So Brad Scott, and this might take some time, but he's going to try and change some habits, which have cost them for a while. So Essendon fans will need to be patient. I'm not sure we're going to see Jake Stringer out there too early with that hamstring. They're trying to build him up for some success, Jim. So I'm not sure we're going to see him against Hawthorn that round 1 game, but it could be a bumpy ride early for the Bombers under your
Well,
man.
all I'll
Reeves.
say about Scotty, who I love, by the way, is that in my time of working with him, I don't reckon we won a pre-season game in that whole period. So he doesn't give us stuff. He just gets what he needs out of the game. I think they're in good hands, the Bombers.
What about DSL?
Very funny first episode.
Was it? How'd you
Yes.
go? Give us a couple of your best ones.
Well, Limo was there to provide the
Oh,
humour.
yes,
and,
good.
Joey and I provided the, footy analysis. I can't even say that. So, well, I was coming off an Ed Sheeran concert the night before.
Oh, so you were a bit ordinary, were you?
That was loose.
You were a bit loose and ordinary.
It was fun.
Who you got on this week?
It was fun. Now, I think we're going to be midway through the test, and I think we've got Emma Friedman at Super Saturday.
Oh, it is
at
too.
Flemington. So what you want to
Yes.
do is you want to tune in, you want to get your notepad and your pen and get all the tips of the day because she will fill you up.
She
Love it.
will. She's good. And value.
Value.
Well done, Jay-Z. Always great to see you.
Great to see you, Jim.